Justin Trudeau is about to resign. Yes, is Justin Trudeau going to resign? Well, he just did an interview where he was speaking in French and wanted to let Canadians know that he finds the job incredibly boring and that he often thinks about resigning on a regular basis. So is Prime Minister Trudeau about to resign? Are we getting our hopes up?
Canadians are not the only ones suffering. Justin Trudeau has it very tough. Did you hear about this? He's a little bit bored. Did you hear about this? Incredible, this quote. I got to read these quotes here for today. He said this in French in an interview with Rad Ken. He said, I think about quitting every day. Isn't that funny? We think about firing him every day. Oh, my God.
Let's bring in, from Ottawa, Canada, David Creighton, independent journalist who's been watching this. And David, I have to ask you, it's very interesting to me. I know over the past couple of years, Trudeau has managed to do a couple of interviews where he does them in French. And I remember we've had to translate some of them, but they end up being some of his most controversial interviews. But he does them in French. I guess he thinks that no one will pay attention, or no one can use a translating app, or no one can translate what he's saying here. So what actually happened here?
Yeah, you're quite right. He does do these interviews in French where he says things that are potentially very embarrassing for him. And he's done this in the past. But what happened last week? He did an interview with Radio Canada, which is the French CBC. And it was all in French. There was no English. And he made a number of very surprising and arguably very stupid statements. You know, he said that he thinks about quitting, and he said quitting every day as prime minister. He said that he finds the job, and the word he used in French was super plat, which means it translates to super boring. He finds the job of prime minister being super boring. He said the only reason he stays on, and he talked about all the hardships he's had to endure, which a lot of people just rolled their eyes at, saying he's talking about hardships.
Right, he's the victim. Hardships. He's the victim here?
He paints himself as the victim in this interview and says he's got to stick to it because he's got to see these policies through. And of course, the policies he's really talking about, the ones he really cares about the most, are the LGBTQ, gender ideology, giving billions to Ukraine, and keeping a euthanasia program going. Those seem to be the policies he's really committed to, along with economic catastrophe. But he has in the past, as you pointed out at the beginning, said things in these French interviews that he really pretends he didn't say.